Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful evening with us on Live with Lloyd. I'm your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. It is a pleasure to be with you as we wrap up the last weeks in the year of 2025. It's almost over. And today I want to spend the time kind of giving readings. Also, I need your cooperation if you don't mind, for those of you in the audience. In other words, my topic today is about the elements in a name. You know, if you've got an astrology chart done, they will tell you whether you got more fire elements in the name, earth, air, water, whatever the case is, in the birthday, rather, in the chart. Well, I do that in the birthday. I'll say, well, you are a fire sign with a water number. That's the birthday. But then there's this research I'm doing about the names, because each of the names have elements too. But before I get started with that, let me tell you about my sponsors, please. The main one is Nicholas Brooklyn, celebrating over 50 years in Brooklyn. They're at 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn. Please go with them this Friday. They are having a red carpet screening from 6 to 8 p.m. called We Are Family by the sister in the upper right, Brigitte, who is sponsoring this. She was a guest on my show a little while back. And then on Sunday, they're going to have a winter solstice day of wellness from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. There is a small fee, but it is well worth it. I'm going to try to see if I can get there myself, if that's possible. No guarantee, but it's going to be really good. Also, Uchenna's book, Soul First, Master 24 Hours, Master Life. It is available on Amazon. And on Amazon, you can also get the companion journal, and you can get the book on an ebook as well. Also, Numerolytics, Melinda Valentine, who is has a charts and other services that she offers. She also has a podcast. We're almost ending the fire period, but she has a journal of, I should say, a seasonal book that covers the fire period. Next is the earth period and whatnot. And in fact, she will be my guest on this coming Monday, the 22nd of December, when we are in the earth sign. So I'm going to be putting throughout the earth period of Capricorn the journal you should get. But right now, we're still in the fire period until Monday. So in the meantime, do pick up this journal in addition to reaching out for her consultations. Also, Reset. For those of you who want to set up a business and you kind of want an AI receptionist to kind of field your questions, schedule appointments, well, this is the time to do that. Also, take advantage. Also, Kimberly, Manifest on Purpose. She has published the book on. It is available on Amazon. So if you purchase it, you write a comment and or review, and you take a screenshot and get it to it. If you have a business, there will be a complimentary reading that she will do for you. And last but not least, as you know, I had on the show Monday, Biggie, the famous astrologer, okay? And he is having a special offer that begins actually tomorrow, all the way through the 1st of January. So take advantage of the discounted sales and things of that nature. We had a very interesting discussion without question. So let me tell you what. And the reason why I'm asking you is because I've added a feature to my website, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. So for those of you who can, I want you to participate, because here's why. Do you know that each letter in your name is ruled by an element? Did you know, depending upon the nature of that number, it will describe the personality of the person I'm talking to, even if I didn't have your birthday? Well, what I want you to do, for those of you, you can do it on your phone, but I know it's better on the computer. If you go to my website, now, if you go to my website, you'll see that I have a new feature on there called Astronumerology Calendar. If you click on that calendar, that will feed in your name. Of course, you will enter your birthday, but here's what you do when you get to it. First of all, when you get to it, click on it. this is the screen that will come up, okay? It will give you enter your name, first name, last name, birthday, and the Chaldean system. Now, there are several systems that I have on here. I have the Pythagorean, which is more popular, the Chaldean that I use exclusively, or you can do both, and it will generate a report. So I took a good friend of mine, and to give you an example of what his looks like, this is my buddy, Lewis Wheeler. And as you see, I've entered his first, last name, his birthday. I refer to Chaldean system. And this is what you get when you'll get the printout. Now, I had to do it in 2 stages because I couldn't get it all on one screen. But the first one gives you the name, the core numbers, the life path. Now, the life path or birth path or destiny number, these are changes. Simply is what the month, the day, and the year you were born. So he's born on August the 3rd of 1987. So when you add those 3 numbers across, that adds up to the single number of a 9. It tells you what the life path is. His birth date is a 3. So if he was born on the 30th, there would still be a 3. If he was born on the 12th, it would still be a 3. And so it tells you about the birthday expression, also give you the key numbers. Now, what's on the other side is lower down, which is what I want you to help me out with, if you don't mind, is the ending part, the bottom part. Now, if you notice, it'll give you also the astrology. He's a Leo, the element is fire and whatnot, and to give you a name number. Now, by using the name number, here's what I'm saying. In this name, are you mostly fire in your name? Are you mostly earth in your name? Are you mostly air? Or are you mostly water? So you can see from Lewis Wheeler's chart, he has a combination in his name of air and fire and air, I should say. So that tells a lot about things. Now, to help you guide you, this is what I look at. Each of these numbers rule an element, so you'll see it. If you got a lot of 1s, 3s, and 9s in your name, these are fire numbers in your name. It represents boldness and independence, leadership, initiative, proactive, action-oriented, whatever the case is. If you have a lot of 6s and 8s in your name, well, it tells you got a lot of more earth numbers, grounded, common sense, keeping it down to earth and whatnot, very cautious and whatever the case may be. And they take a look before they leap attitude. Now, let's say they got a lot of 4s and 5s in their name. So that tells me, or you got a lot of in your name. And so it tells me that deduction and logic and communications and movement and motion, all these things will be more important to you. However, if you got a lot of 2s and 7s in your name, what that tells me is that's a lot of sensitivities, a very psychic impressions, a second sense about things. All these things are very important. So what I did was I took a couple of examples so you can see exactly what I am talking about. And so what I did was, if I'm not mistaken, I took, and by the way, when I finish with Lewis Wheeler, you can actually print your report out too. So as you see here, this has all the information, and at the very bottom of the page, it'll talk about your element count. And so as you see, he has 4 fire, 2 earth, 4 air, 2 waters. So my thing is to help me with my research. Do you have in your name more water or fire or earth or air, whatever the case may be? And so what I did was I took 2 examples. One was, okay, I think you might all know this legend. His name is Muhammad Ali, or let me see, how did I do this first? Yes, first of all, Muhammad Ali's original name was Cassius Marcellus Clay, all right? As you see, what I did was he was born on January the 17th, 1942. And what I did was I took his information, and you see at the very bottom, because that's what I want. How many of these numbers do you have in your name? How many 5 numbers? In his original name, Cassius Marcellus Clay, he is a junior, but under Cassius Marcellus Clay, born on the 17th of January, being an earth sign with an earth number, he has more fire numbers. Now, fire numbers of people, I notice when you got a lot of fire, you take the initiative. You know what I'm saying? And, remember they talked about he was a loudmouth guy. He did a lot of talking. But if they had noticed his name, he had a lot of 1s and 3s in his name. 1 is the leadership number, and 3 is the number of expression. So he would sting like a butterfly, these kind of things, or fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee, whatever the case would be. I am the greatest. All these things became actually sayings that people would quote. So he made a transition, but this is his original name. Now, this is important too for women who have married, not married, or change your name, because people do change their names for various reasons. So before I do that, let me do this too. And this is when he changed his name to Muhammad Ali. All righty. And as you see, as his element count, he has fire numbers, he has air numbers, and whatnot. So what happens is, although this was the name he became most known by, nonetheless, he still had his original name. So what you can do is take your name. Now, of course, I include you in my calculator. It includes both the Pythagorean and the Chaldean. I'm using more the Chaldean. If for those of you feel comfortable when you use the Pythagorean, my point is to find out, trying to see if it fits, because this is the research. If you've got a lot of earth, maybe you're the kind of personality that's more grounded. Maybe you might have a child or a mate or whatever that's got more fire. Well, they ain't got no patience. They want to keep it moving. They want to take charge, or whatever the case is. Or maybe it's a mix or blend of both. And all of this will help you. So now, for those of you who give me your name, that would be great. For those of you who will give me your birthday, well, that's just as good also, because I enjoy both. But this will help me in my research. So let me do this one more time. So for those, please go to my website, LLoyd-Strayhorn.com. Click on my new edition astronumerology calendar. Put in your name and tell me what elements come under your name, okay? And then this way I'll give you an interpretation. But if you want to give a birthday or ask a question of me, it is fine as well. So I'm going to go to my comment section and see what we got going. I'm going to start at the top, as I always do, so I don't leave. Oh, and let me say this. I noticed on Monday there were about 2 people I missed that made a donation. And I want to tell you that, the last thing I do, because I get so many comments. Now, I need to get some likes in there, though, okay, from what I'm told. So if I can get some likes in there, that's important. But with the comments, I think there were about 2 or 3 people that have made a donation, or call it what you will. So if I don't call you, please let me know by sending your information, your name and your birthday to a star8llc@gmail.com. That's ASTAR, the number 8 after my app, a star8 llc@gmail.com. And then that way I will honor it the next time I'm on the air, okay? Because I don't like to leave people out, especially when you made a donation, all right? I am one person. I do need a producer. I'm my producer, my host, everything. But anyway, I want to thank all of you, and also Earth Appears, and all of you who do this on a regular basis. I appreciate it. It's not like you guys don't have anything else to do with your time, but you'll all come on. I need to thank my Wednesday moderator, Empress Rel, who is absolutely the best. She is an Aquarius also. And she says, don't forget to hit that like button. So can y'all please do the favor? Yes, and if y'all can do that, that would be great. So what I'm going to do, if for those of you who entered your name and look at your elements, just let me know, and I'll look at that. But if you got a birthday, oh, and you know what? I always forget to put up my, information up there. As long as I've been doing this about 3 years. So for those of you, astronumerologist, author, my site is LLoyd-Strayhorn.com. That's where you click on the new feature, astronumerology calculator. A star8, that is the app. That's like having Lloyd in your pocket. So if you go to Linktree/numbers and you'll see all the features, classes, free newsletters, online courses, and things like that. All right. And I do have a cash app, because people have asked me from time to time. That is $, numbers in you, although I will forget, not like I don't need it, but like I do forget because that's not, well, anyway, enough of that. So also, let me see now, going to the comments too. All right. And, oh, I like this. Okay. Okay, the comment section. Thank you. Here we go. All righty. Let me see. Thanks, Empress Rel. Okay, so Atisha, yeah, good evening, happy Wednesday. Yeah, this month is almost a wrap. Before you know it, I'll be presenting the January forecast. Although you can see the completed version in the email that can be sent to you. Numeralytics, peace and blessings to you. And by the way, Numeralytics, or Melinda Valentine, will be my guest this coming Monday. She's got some features she wants to introduce. Of course, she'll probably be doing some reading. She's one of the best. So that's it. You'll see her then. CC Naturally 29. Thank you for joining us. And she says, hit that button. I don't know what button it is, but just press the likes. I'm beginning to understand, after going on 2-3 years of doing this, how important the likes are. Also, leave a comment. By the way, in January, I'm going to take a couple of weeks off. So for those of you who'd like to see the best of, just go to my website, go to YouTube, click on Numbers in You by LLoyd Strayhorn. And those that you want to see, send it in, your request into *8, ASTAR, the number 8, LLC at gmail.com. And I will do my best to make sure they're pulled. So, but I do need to take a break with some things, all right? Because there's some things I need to do. One of these is the research of you helping me with the name, okay? And Blackberry, happy Wednesday too. And to the creator, Yellow Soul, she was on earlier this week, I do believe, and last week. All right, so let's see. Well, we got the first person with a birthday. Now, please, if you don't mind, if you can go to my website, LLoyd-Strayhorn, click on my new feature, Astronumerology Calculator, and just I don't need all your information, your life path, birth path, all that stuff. I need to know, of all the elements in your name, which one stands out the most, and I'll give you a reading on that too. I'm just trying something a little different. But anyway, Deborah, hello to you. You are an earth sign with a water number. See, now that's in her birthday. But what is she in her name? Because that adds to the personality. See, the birthday indicates the shape and the dimension of which way you're heading. What your best days are, your best times of the year, your best months, ages, years, all a host of other things that come from the birthday that don't change. Your name can change, okay? People have gone through several transitions. You can use your original name you were given at birth, as I did in this example of Cassius Marcellus Clay, who then changed it to Muhammad Ali, that he became very known for worldwide. But in this case, Deborah, it tells me you've always been a kind of sensitive person. And interestingly enough, looking at the birthday, born on May the 2nd, it tells me you have been pretty much in this year for 2025, this what's left of it, a 7 personal year. So that means for much of this year, you've either done a lot of soul searching, a lot of y'all don't be bothering me. I don't need this. Probably a desire to get away to the sand, the sea, and the sun to kind of hear yourself think and get away from all the noise, the confusion, the drama, and the chaos, and just simply be left alone. But it would have been a good time to get into meditation. What's left of the year, which is only 2 weeks now, which is 16 days, because there's 31 days in December, is to kind of meditate if possible, to kind of get some space. Now, I ain't talking about you got to meditate like a monk and all that stuff, but just sit in the quiet corner, just close your eyes and try not to let anything disturb you. Although if you live in a city like I do, that's next to impossible. There's always sirens and sanitation trucks. There's always something, which is why I get up very early to do my meditation, because I try to get up before the city does. Because once it's up, it's live in New York City. That's all I can say. So anyway, your key numbers are always a 2, 7, and 6, being a Taurus. That means Mondays and Fridays are your best days. Okay, Deborah? And now, and it's interesting about Deborah too, because people can say the name either Deborah or Deborah. So I've had people say I like Deborah. That's the emphasis where they pronounce um, the vowels. I should say the syllables in the name. Excuse me, or Deborah. Okay, so Deborah or Deborah. Anyway, that's it. And it's Deborah Lynn. So let me see something. Now I'm going to try to do something off the top. I see I see you got 5 air numbers. Okay, you got 5, 6 air numbers. So if you did your name, Deborah Lynn Lucas, right? If you, Deborah, go to my website, LLoyd-Strayhorn, click on the new feature, Astronumerology Calendar, I will and bet you will have more air numbers. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm seeing 5 of those. Now, how many fire numbers do I see? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So to me, you have more air and fire energy. So if you were to do that calculator, and at the very bottom of the screen, if you print it out or just when you slide down to it, you'll see that air probably stands out most. It looks like you got about 6 of them. Because don't forget, this is off my head. I ain't got this calculator. I'm just looking at what the letters represent. And so if that's the case, that means you're very logical. That's the nature of air. And you're very proactive, which is fire. You're very intelligent. You are an initiator in terms of the personality of the name, not the birthday. Okay. So it's very, very much. And by the way, your birthday indicates you're quite psychic too. All right, let's go on. So if anybody can work with the calendar and give me what they see, that would be greatly appreciated. Happy Wednesday to you too, Maureen, and bless all of you. Okay. And greetings to all of you. Let me see. Okay. Now this person says, hey, Lloyd, your books on numerology, which I love, but they are other books that explain each meaning behind each individual numbers for beginners. Yes. They have several books. I've got tons and tons of books in my collections. There's from the very most elementary to the extremely complicated. Okay. Like this gentleman, Matthew Goodwin, that published the guy was from MIT. He was a mathematician, but he was also into numerology. That book was so heavy, he had to put it in 2 volumes that I happen to have. In fact, it's a collection now that's very hard to find. But yes, they do have books that explain it. Mine, now let me explain this to you. When I wrote my best-selling book, Numbers in You, that you can get on Amazon right now, along with my 3 other books, when I wrote it, I figured out, I said, what is the reading level in America at the time? The reading level in this country was about 4th or 5th grade. And that was back then, because I published the book 40 years ago. Okay. So what that tells me, and since now there was no computers in that sense, there was no cell phones, there was no tablets, there was none of that. There was no Instagram, none of that was around. Everything was like basic television that cut off at a certain time, a radio you could listen to all day and all night long, but that was about it. So my whole thing was when I wrote my best-selling, which is why I still sell it, Numbers in You, a numerology guide for everyday living, was to keep it as simple as possible. And there would be other books. I'll try to make a note, and maybe I'll try to throw up some other books, but I'm not afraid to mention any other books that'll help you be better. Or you can also take my online courses too. Just go to Linktree, Numbers in You, and sign up for one of the courses. First, take the first one, Live from Lloyd, How to Read a Person Like a Book. Learn from Lloyd, shall we say. All right, thanks for that. Thank you. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. My moderator says, please list your information one time. Duplications will be deleted. Now, my moderator on Wednesday, like Monday's moderator, don't play. So y'all would do that, okay? And Quintanella, she's one of our regulars. Hey, how you doing too? Unconditional light and love and beautiful spirits. Thank you. I'm curious whether any of you have gone. Thank you very much, Numeralytics. She will be on my show Monday introducing. We're going to be talking about her. She's a great astronumerologist. She's got some projects going on. I would tell you, but I'm going to let her tell you because there might be some things like, shh, don't tell everybody yet. So if she does, she'll do it on Monday on the show. And so that's going to be a wonderful thing to see. Okay. Let's see. Peace and blessings. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And also don't forget, if you didn't put your name in the calculator, also give me your birthday and your questions. She says she needs 24 people to hit the like button. So can y'all do that? And you know, I got to be honest. I am guilty of not saying how many people called in, how many people liked, how many people put comments. When I finish, I finish. I really do until next Monday comes, next Wednesday comes. And that's how I do it. And I'm trying to prepare for the show. So Afro Incense. Okay, now here we have by birthday a fire sign with a fire number. Okay, so that tells me if you're dealing with this particular person, this is a person that's going to see how you move, not what you say. Okay, actions speak louder than words, or as they used to say in the old school, you can show me better than tell me. Well, this is Afro Incense. All right. And it doesn't make her difficult or challenging unless you are superficial in your intentions. But if you're dealing with her on whatever level, you got to come real. And she happens to be born on the birthday of my best friend in the whole wide world, Lewis Wheeler. And in fact, it was Lewis that that helped me and asked me thousands of questions about the weekly, there's the universal week, the universal month and day and month and year. He says, what about the universal week? I said, there's no such thing. And to that, I created it. But anyway, getting back to you, Afro Incense, it tells me you were old when you were young. And as you get older, you get younger. And so do the relationships that come in your space too. And the one thing I love about threes is this, whether it's in a name or in a birthday, when a person has a lot of threes in their name, when challenged, that you can't do this and you can't do that, that's the worst thing to tell a number three to do. So with my best friend, he taught himself Spanish. The brother was brilliant. Lewis was brilliant. Okay. Just amazing. And so all I'm saying is, so I'm sure Afro Incense, you have some of those amazing qualities too. And this particular year, you have been in an 11 personal year or two, which means there's this, that the one exciting part for you is not only is 2026 the year that favors Leo as the first sign in the zodiac, that's you. You will be in a 3 personal year at the same time since you're born on the 3rd. So if you can recall what happened in 2017, that should give you a clue that it should have been busy, it should have been expansive, it should have been prosperous in terms of a job or making money or something like that. So it's going to be a very exciting time for you. And now that you're being wiser and older from life's experience up to this date, I'd say, boy, I'd love to be a fly on the wall to see how you do. I expect you to do nothing short of success, to be honest with you. Okay. All righty. So, what does Empress say? Okay. She says, please list your information once duplications will be removed. Okay. I'm going to try to read everybody and I might go a little bit over. I like Afro Incense. She's like me. Where's the like button? Empress, well, where's the like button? I don't see it on my computer because maybe I could press like for myself a couple of times and kind of drive it up, I have no idea. That's a good question, Afro Incense. And I've been doing this 3 years. I've never even asked, well, where's the button? I just know I don't see it on my computer. Anyway, Letitia Thompson, Thomas Russell, and she said she was born in 4. And in fact, I do believe that we read her on Monday. I mean, because we've got so many things. But she says she's starting her own business as a Reiki master, tarot and card reader, and motivational speaker. What does 2026 look like? Well, first of all, this particular year has been a 9 personal year for you. 9 is one of your numbers. Your numbers are the 6, the 3, and the 9 in that order. Okay. So this should have been a very important year, that there was either some fulfillment of dreams, some terminations of situations where there were people, places, or things. It all depends. And also an opportunity to travel distances, or people from a distance traveling your way. Okay. Now there's a new 9-year cycle that's about to open up for you as you enter a one. So and see, here's the thing that makes yours unique, Letitia. Not only is there's the universal year, and 9 times out of 10, the person's personal year is totally different. Well, on that rare scale, your universal year is the same as your personal year, and your personal year is the same as your universal year. So it means you're going to be starting in a one personal year and a one universal year, which is going to allow you to begin to really open up, to really blossom, to really carve the kind of, you know what I call it? I call it the first stage where you plant your seeds. What is it you want over the next 9 years? What is it that you want for yourself? Now, 6 is normally like obligations and family and commitment and community and service and all that stuff. But in a one cycle year, the deal is me, myself, and I. And how can you continue to help others as a Reiki master or a card reader or a spiritual mentor, motivational speaker, if you don't have your stuff together? Okay. So that's what this year is saying for you coming up for 2026. It's going to allow you to start fresh. Since you'll be in a one personal year and a one universal year, you might even add something new over and above what you're presently doing to your skill sets. You see what I'm saying? So I would say that it's going to be looking real good. It's going to be looking real good in terms of if you need a fresh start. The beauty of this year of a 9 is you get rid of things that no longer serves a purpose. Individuals, situations, ways of thinking, mindset, and all that stuff. Because now you're about to start on a brand new 9-year journey. So whatever you plant, the seeds will grow over the next 9-year period. So you must choose wisely. Did anybody use I want to see what people's names are, but anyway, I'll be a cool. Okay. Blessings from Temple Hills. Okay. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you very much. Okay. I just use your calculator, Lloyd, and I absolutely love it. Well, that's nice, but I need to tell me at the bottom how many fire numbers you had, how many earth numbers you had, how many air numbers you had, how many water numbers you had. So, because I've known your birthday, but now I want to get in your business with your name. Because your name, see, let me tell you how it works. Your birthday tells me why you're here. The journey you must take from the womb to the tomb, or from sunrise to sunset, call it what you will. It is your name that denotes your natural talents, gifts, skills, and abilities. What you have, even if you didn't go to school. This is why you have some people that are natural artists and some people natural business persons and natural whatever the case is. That comes from the name. But what kind of motivation is behind that name? Is there a lot of fire to push it? Now, my research has shown that if people got if they're heaviest on the fire, that means they're more proactive in pushing their goals, their objectives forward, okay? Earth is more practical. Water is more sensitive about the way they do things, more through the arts and things creative and dance and theater and design and drama, or computers and technology and engineering. So these elements in your name will tell me a lot about your personality and how you lean. And not only that, who you're attracted to, too. So a person with a lot of fire numbers, well, they would attract fire signs like Leo, fire signs like Aries, fire signs like Sagittarius, or anybody born on the 1st, the 3rd, the 9th, the 10th, the 12th, the 18th, the 19th, 21st, 27th, 28th, and 31st, because these are all fire dates in the months. So it's just interesting. I'm glad you love it, but if you can give me what your numbers was, that would make sense too. Okay. Yes, sir. Proud of you. Thank you. For these. Okay. You're like me, Quintella. I did both too. I did the Chaldean and I did see, let me tell you how the astronumerology calendar works. My preference, when I teach a course, like I've done last year, a couple of courses, I always use the Pythagorean because that's so easy to learn. That is not the case with the Chaldean. And also understand that the Chaldean, and the difference is this. The Pythagorean system says you take the name you were given at birth. Well, if the person just came out the womb 10 minutes ago, a couple of hours ago, whatever that full name is, of course you deal with that. But as we evolve and grow on our own and mature and become teenagers and develop into our own personalities as men and women and relationships, then we, you might have a person, I think Lewis's name was Lewis Vance Wheeler. Okay, that was his original name, Lewis Vance Wheeler. I should have included that too. However, he was always known as Lewis Wheeler. So normally by the time we reach adulthood, we're just known as by a first and last name. Well, Pythagoras says that this philosophy is, well, you must take your original name at birth. I love the Chaldean system because it says you take the name you're most known by. So if I took LaToy Wallace, I forgot the first name, who wound up being Biggie Smalls, and I don't care. His name is Christopher George LaToy Wallace. That's his original name, Christopher George LaToy Wallace, if memory serves me correct. I've got so much in my brain. But he became known as Biggie Smalls, okay? So that is the name you take. But that would never apply under the Pythagoras system, since he's supposed to take Christopher George LaToy Wallace. Well, that's good. And when he was a baby, he came in out the womb. But now that he became an adult and became known for his lyrical expressions through the music and whatnot, that's what you take. So yes, I got to admit, Quentin, I did the same thing, which is why I got both systems on there. But that's why I was saying, well, whichever system you choose, let me know and just see what the numbers come up with. Okay. I have my first one. Yay. Creator Yellow Soul. Now, she's born 10/10 because we talked about her on Monday, and we talked about you nicely too. I hope if you heard the show, right? So, in fact, 2026 adds up to a 10, and you're born in the 10th month on the 10th day, and you're going into a 3 personal year, which is expansion and good luck and prosperity and connections and networking, enhancing your name and reputation and goodwill. It should be a fun year for you, young lady. So, getting back to this. She has 7 fire numbers. She has 3 earth numbers, 2, and she has no water. Now, water, it doesn't mean she doesn't have feelings, she doesn't have sympathy, but that's not where her strongest trait is. Her strongest trait is on fire. And how many? Hold up. She has 7 fire, 3 earths, 2 waters. So your fire and earth combination, which means your initiative and yet you're practical. Okay, you know how you got those characters in the action movies, Fast and Furious, all that stuff. They just run in the car, just jump out the window and all that stuff, and they just miraculously land in the other building and all that other stuff. Strictly movies, okay? Well, you would take the initiative, but when you take yours, is there some earth down there? Okay, do I have a parachute? Is there a pool or something? So I have a soft landing. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. And so therefore, and then when I'm looking at those ones in your name, the 1010, those are fire numbers, and it's 1 to the 10th power. So then I'm looking, and eight, the zeros, I describe 8 as being more Saturn or the number 8, because when you put 2 zeros on top of each other, that's the number 8. And when you lay it sideways, that's the number of infinity, without beginning, without end. So it tells me you're young and old at the same time, although you only turned 23. Just 2 months ago, all right? But I'm looking at the fire number, and I'm finding so far in my research, the people who are movers and shakers that make things happen are normally heaviest at the top, which is fire. Because you gotta, it's one thing to want to do something, but then how motivated are you to carry it through? Everybody want $1 million, but what you gonna do? What kind of sacrifice? What kind of effort you gonna put in to get that, whatever it is you're looking for, whether it's money or love or career or whatever the case is. So you are the first one. This is very good. I really appreciate this one. Okay, and so for you, this year is a 3, and then and don't forget what you have although you are an air sign with a fire number, and then you got more fire numbers, it tells me you're going to make a name for yourself, okay? That's what I'm seeing. Okay, good. Okay, now this person says, hey, Lloyd, I have your app, a star 8. It says my name description is a number 5. Is that what you're referring to? No. You in my app, I need you to go to my website, LLoyd-Strayhorn.com. and you see the along the top, I have little features or whatever you call them, links. Well, I want you to go to my website, LLoyd-Strayhorn.com. And then when you get to my website, you'll see the link that says Astronumerology Calculator. That's when you put in your name, you put in your birthday, and the only thing I want from you is how many fire numbers do you have? How many earth numbers do you have? How many air numbers and water numbers? Because that will tell me a lot about you, even though I may not have what the total is. It's just some research I'm doing this. I'm always doing something, but this is what I love. I mean, I really love doing this. So if you do that, so don't deal with the app itself, although it's nice. And thank you for having the app. Okay. All right. Let's see. This is interesting. I'm enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. Hold on. Okay. I did at 8:30 April incense. Okay. Let me see something here. Okay. I read Letitia. She's going to have a good year too. You know, people say to me, Lord, you're always so positive. Well, that's what I try to do. Listen, there's enough drama on a day-to-day basis without me adding more drama in your space. Okay? If I see something good, that's what I'm going to emphasize. You know, they used to be saying, if you can't say nothing good, don't say nothing at all. Right? These are the things. Okay? And yes, I'm going to stay positive. That's it. Because we have been programmed to knock each other. This is no accident. We will praise other folks way before we praise ourselves. That's no accident. It is the way. Don't forget, we have been enslaved. We did not come here as slaves. We were enslaved. There's a big difference in the language. There's a big difference in the mindset. Okay. And you got to understand that. Okay. Let me see something here, so I don't get carried away. Okay, here's Quintanilla. All right, this is good. Thank you. Okay, now she used both. Okay, all right. So we'll take in the Pythagorean system, she's got 7 fires, 3 earths, 6 air, and 1 water. Now, what I noticed is that people who tend to do well is there are 2 that dominate. It's fire and air. Those tend to do it. It's not that others don't, but notice fire and air when you got those 2 going. And so what it simply means, not only passionate, but the air rules the intellectual part, the intelligence part, the powers of deduction and reaching conclusions, followed by the ability to carry those plans out. So Quintanilla, that tells me you have outstanding things. So when I look at the Chaldean system, you have 6 fires, 1 earth, and you got a lot of air in the Chaldean system. So it tells me you're very, very logical in your deductions, things of that nature. And you will find that anytime that something deals with the state of your mind, that's when you do best. 5, air is also freedom loving. It loves this space. So I would say, Quintanilla, the way to hold on to you is to let you go. Don't be clocking you. Where you going? Why you going there? When you coming back? How long you going to be? And, you know, we had this conversation yesterday. Okay. You don't do that with a lot of strong air. Air needs space. Air isn't just in my space. It's in your space too. Okay. So you got to have it whereby you need space followed by the initiative. But one thing is very clear, whether it is on, you got 1 earth, you got, yeah. So one thing is clear that you're very strong on your fire and your air. So you across the board, whether you use Pythagorean, whether it's Chaldean, in your case you did, you have done both. Thank you very, very much for that. This is good because this is what I want to do. I want to do the research. Does it work or something like that? There's my man, Don Zetto. I'm going to talk to him in a minute. Well, this is Randall Anderson. He just had a birthday about 2-3 weeks ago. He is a Sagittarius 8 person. So you did not put the elements of your name, but the element of your birthday says this to me. You are an earth sign. Excuse me. You are a fire sign with an earth number. This is the same day as Tina Turner and a couple other people of note. But nonetheless, that simply means you are very passionate. That's that fire. And yet very grounded. That's that earth. And it also tells me since the year before 2024 was the year of the 8, it should have been a very important year for you. I'm looking at the fact that this year you have been in a one personal year. This year you should have been taking the initiative to do things on your own. I'm going to run a little past an hour because I really want to do this. This is, and because I'm thanking you very much for those of you who are submitting your name into my calculator and giving me your numbers so I can kind of help you understand yourselves better. Okay. But as a result of Randall, I'm looking at the fact that you're young and old at the same time. And therefore you will attract younger and older and people from different cultures as well, too. So if you have dated somebody from a different culture or with a different language or different background or different ethnicity or whatever the case is, that doesn't surprise me at all. Now, I find it with number 8 people, regardless of whatever sign is, as they get older, their life gets better, especially between their 33rd and 35th birthday. And I think, my friend, you are about there as we speak now. And so that means there's some radical changes for the better underway for you. So now you're going into a master number 11 personal year, if my brain did this correctly. So that means you need to enter the new year of 2026 with a higher mindset, a higher sense of awareness, a higher sense of vision, a higher sense of purpose, a higher sense of intention in everything you do. And don't just sweat the small stuff. You raise your sights as high as possible because 8 is an elevated number. Not only that, but one of your power months is January, which is right around the corner. So we do the show on Monday with my very special guest, Melinda Valentine. Brother, you're going to be in your element. And by the way, your key or lucky numbers are always the 8, 3, and 6. Your best days are always on a Saturday 1st, a Thursday 2nd, and a Friday 3rd. And you always tend to do well in the months of January, March, May, October, and December. And just several days before you hit it, like you are late November into December. So you're in your prime month now. So I wish you nothing but the best, man. You know, all the best, all the best. Now, here's my buddy here. I think he lives in Chicago, I think. He is 6. He says, I see I have more air than anything. What does that mean? Air represents the intellect. Air represents the person use their power of the mind to problem solve. Some people are very assertive and knock doors down. Some people are very strategic, which is earth. Some people are very emotional about it, which is the water. But the air, if you got most of the air in the name, it says simply that you will use more the power of deductions, the power of logic, the power of intelligence to resolve things. And especially if it's backed up with fire numbers too, because not only to do it, but then you have that initiative, that fire, so to speak, symbolically, to drive you forward to carry out your logical plans, your intelligent plans. Okay. So that's how I see it. But I can tell you this, you are heading into a 9 personal year. And what's interesting, your numbers are the 6, 9, and 3 in that order, being a water sign with an earth number. So that means you have a nurturing kind of personality that would deal with community, family. The only thing I noticed with 6 men, the ladies that they deal with were often accused of men. I don't know. It's not all the time, but having control issues. But 6 is about family. So there's a certain way they want to raise their family, take care of themselves and things of that nature. But nonetheless, it's going to be a very, very interesting year for you. It's going to be a year that's going to be a 9, which is your second best number. It's 6, then 9, then 3. And it's Friday, then Tuesday, then Thursday. Ready? Thanks, man. And thanks very much. Thanks for using the app too, because this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to just see if it works. What do you think? Should I keep it? Whatever the case is. But this is a new concept I came up just talking to a friend one day. I says, well, just as each zodiac has elements that are pronounced, each birthday has elements to pronounce, why not names? So that's when I came up with the calculator to do this, okay? Okay. This person says, Lloyd, how do you use your birth name or your current name if you did a legal name change on your site? Okay, well, here's the option. When you change your name, these are called, in one numerology book I have, angles of development, okay? You know how you're born in one name, but you have a nickname? You know, they'll call you Lloyd in one way, but Junior in another, or something of that nature. The rule is, that's why I use the Chaldean system. If you did change your legal name, you now take the name you're most known by. See, Pythagoras would have said, man, you need to take your original name at birth. You know that ain't your original name. And so, but you're an adult. You're an adult when you make that kind of decision that you consciously wanted to do something about your name in a legal way. And if you did change in a legal way, and that is the name you're using, now you see why my preference is always the Chaldean system. Always. Because let me tell you how it started. When I came to radio in New York City, the gentleman that hired me, Mark Riley, God bless his soul, the program director, Mark was not his first name. It was his middle name. So I tried to explain to him, and that I was very much into Pythagoras at the time. Pythagoras says, Mark, man, listen, for me to do this properly, I need your first name, bro. He wasn't having it. He wasn't hearing it. Listen, you take my name. Under the Chaldean system, I didn't have to worry. So it didn't matter what his first name was. And it didn't matter the history, because we all have histories behind our names, believe it or not, to some degree or another, which is why I always tell you there are 3 things you need to know about your name. Who named you? Why did they name you? And what does the name mean? Just those 3 questions seem to fill in a sense of purpose and direction. So, who named you? Why did they name you? And what does your name mean? Okay. So if you did a legal name change on the site, then that's the name you use. Now, I'll tell you this. You can't do a legal name change and then use your other name. Everybody knows you like that. Okay. And this is one of the reasons why a person will ask me, come to me, I need to change my name. Well, when they come back later, they still got the same name. It's spelled differently. Okay. There are 24 ways of spelling the name Catherine. There's several ways of spelling Carol. There's several ways of spelling Lewis, Lewis, Louis. And so it goes on. Michelle got 1 L, Michelle got 2 L's. So it all depends on the spelling of the name. Now you see what I'm talking about. What are the elements in your name? How does it run? And by one, for example, with Michelle, by adding an extra L, which is a fire number that adds more extra energy to her carrying out things. So I would say the Michelle with 2 L's would be more forceful or more proactive than the one with just 1 L in the name. These are all assumptions. I'm doing research. This is why my book is called Numbers in You. People that ask me questions, and I do the research, and only if it's right, because I come out of Harlem, and in Harlem, you just can't talk junk and don't back it up, okay? So that's my background, and that's how I do it. I rarely say something I can't prove. I rarely don't say something that has some sense, some common sense to it. I just don't. You got to explain this stuff a lot, okay? All right. Greetings to you, man. All right, in London, UK. See, she says she traveled a lot this year. Yep. And she says, correct. Thank you very, very much for the confirmation. This is it. Okay. Now, she said she didn't put her middle name in because it didn't ask for it. Now, if you use the Chaldean, you don't need the middle name. You do the name you're most known by. If you use the Pythagorean, maybe you should take the original name you used at birth, but then you take the name you're most known by now. And don't forget, you may be married, have a married name. I had a client that got the woman married about 5-6 times. Seriously. You know what I'm saying? And my job wasn't to knock her. Listen, till she get it right. Okay. That's everybody's got their own energy, their own flavor of how they move. And so, but even if you didn't put your middle name in because it didn't ask for it, what you do is like, if you notice the example I did with Cassius Marcellus Clay, I just put Cassius Marcellus in the first line and the last name Clay in the bottom line, which says the last name. So do it like that too. Good question. Okay. Now it says 55 people in the chat with only 35 up. Can y'all get the likes up, please? Please. Can y'all help a brother out? I try not to ask much. Really, I don't, if you notice. Okay. CC naturally says, hi, Baba Lloyd. This name element feature will be on the app. Will it be on the app in the future, or is this specifically for the website? Please and thank you so much. Yes, I do want to add this feature into my app. There's a lot of things I want to add to my app. I can't tell you now, which is but it's going to take a nice investment for me to get it to that level, but it's going to be well worth it. But right now, it's on my website. And so my website is absolutely free and it's access. The astronumerology calendar is absolutely free. It just gives you a kind of a profile of yourself, numerically speaking, of your birthday and your name. But what I wanted to do was add those elements to explain why one would differ from another. Some people may have more water, which means they feel things more. One may have more earth, which means you got to make sense to me. What are we talking about? One will have more air, which is more logic and reasoning and intelligence and things of that nature, and inquisitive mind. And they may have a lot of fire. But I noticed when I did famous people during my research on this, they seem to be strong in the fire and air department. It doesn't mean because you're not strong in the fire department, that don't mean you can't make a contribution, because I did famous people and there were exceptions. But I noticed that the majority, so I'm saying that this is helping me with my research, that's all. So before I put my mouth out there, because you know what I'm saying, because people are something else. All right. Courtney Siobhan Lovelace, December 28th at 1:10 p.m. So that means your son is just sitting in the 9th house. Okay. And that's the house of foreigners, foreign countries, foreign languages, travel, things like that. And you are in Aries 1. So you are a fire sign with a fire number. So when I look at Courtney Siobhan, right quick, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm seeing more air numbers. I'm seeing 2 water numbers. See, this is why I did the calculator, because, you know, but I'm just saying, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's so even if I don't do the rest, you seem to have, because you have 8, you seem to have about, and then there's Lovelace too. You have about 8 air numbers in your name, Courtney Siobhan Lovelace. Seriously. So that means a person's going to have to get to the noggin, okay? You know, they can talk the smack in the world, but if they can't get to here, what are we talking about? And then that's what stimulates you anyway, which is none of my business, okay? So a person just can't be down and think it's going to be a hit and a quit. No, you don't do that. Things got to make sense. And that's what motivates you. I noticed with number 1 people, because they're on the mental plane, that's how you got to approach them. You can't approach them with, you know, the fluff and the, you know, the nice words and all that stuff. That's good too. But you got to have something going on in the cap, and you got to stimulate that brain of theirs for them to then be open and receptive to which way you want to take that relationship. So that's all I'm saying. But your numbers are the 1, 4, and 9. Okay. And your best days are always on a Sunday and a Tuesday. That I can tell you. And this particular year is going to be a year for you, because 2 + 8 is 10. You're going into the year of the 10, and you'll be entering a 5 personal year, which means you will be at the midway point in your 9-year journey. And that means travel and movement and motion and opportunities and possibilities. All kinds of things is about to break for you. Okay. And I would say, Courtney Siobhan Lovelace, that the secret of holding on to you is to let you go during next year, to give you some space. And then with your fire sign with a 5 number, and you're going in and see 5 is ruled by the element of air. So air will only stimulate the fire. So you should be something else, just like you were back in the year of 2017, because that was the year of the 1. If you can remember about 2017, and that was a major change or turning point for you, then you're just taking it to the next level for this year. Anyway, okay. So I'm going to be on about another 10 or 15 more minutes. Let me see. Did I get everybody? Okay. Thank you very much, Mommy at Last. Sharon Anderson Elements. Okay. She did both too. Okay. That's me. That's why I put both on there. Okay. She's got 6 fire numbers, 3 earth numbers, 5 air numbers. See, normally when I notice that the people who tend to kind of move it are strong in the fire and air department, not the water and earth don't do it too. She has 3 earths and no water. So her emphasis is more fire and air, more actions and intellect, more initiative and deduction. That's what that's about. So that's a good combination to carry out anything. And with all these fire signs, and then you did not give your birthday, but it would suggest you should attempt to try to go into business for yourself, own something, be a manager, supervisor, director, whatever the case is. Every single one of you have so much talent. We have been trained and dumbed down to think all we need to do is go to school and then get a job instead of creating jobs. That's why they call us consumers, because we just consume. We're not trained to be entrepreneurs. We're not trained to be business persons. That is done deliberately and is done with intention. And what I'm saying is every single one of you out there got some God-given talent, gifts, skills, and abilities. It's a matter of finding it, tapping in, and believing in yourself to follow through. So when I was told, you know, like, boy, you crazy, you better keep your job. What's a numerologist? I knew I found something I loved to do. And then I'm having a family at the time, raising kids. But I'm glad I persisted. And that's what I'm saying. God honors diligence, okay, and consistency. And if you found your passion, and everyone has a passion, but we're so busy with the struggle, to day-to-day things that's going on, the pressure of the bills, the this, that, and the other, that it's a distraction from the things we really need to do or passionate about doing. And what I'm saying is every single one of you have something that's very important. So even when I look at her Chaldean, so whether I look at the Chaldean, she's got four fires, 6 air. So in the Chaldean, she's got more that intellectual side of her nature, more the brainy stuff. More, okay, we'll figure this out. We'll put this puzzle together. And then she can back it up with the fire to then put it into action. So this is a very powerful combination. Then in the Pythagorean, it's just reversed. She's got more fire. But the point is, whether it's Chaldean or Pythagorean, she has both high in fire and air, or air and fire. So that tells me a lot about, and it just tells you your approach. It tells me about your personalities. Greetings to you too. Greetings to you. Okay. Cornell says she put her middle name in the calculator and the fire and the air are still tops. The top two. Not much of a change. No. That's why I gave you the example when I did Muhammad Ali's name. He had about 5 5s. But when I did Cassius Marcellus Clay, which was his original name given at birth, although he was a junior on January the 17th, 1942. By the way, he died on June the 3rd of 1970, 86, well, whatever the case is. But the point is, in his original name, he had 15 fire numbers. So with all those fire energies, I know he could not be stopped. So when he said he is the greatest, it made a lot of sense to me. He had nothing but fire and air. Hold up, let me show you. Okay, so you can see. See, this is his original name. Let me just get this off a second. Okay. That's what that would tell me. Okay. So these are the things that's kind of important to understand. Okay. So anyway, let me go to the rest of the comments and give it about another 10 minutes. And I do thank my moderator. Okay. Now, this person, RGLISH, the elements count. Now, under the Pythagorean, she's got 7 fires, one earth, 4 air, 3 waters. So see, so she has, this person, I don't know why I say she, but they have mostly fire and air, which are blend very good. Like it's like earth and water go together when you're planting something. Well, air and fire goes together too when you are trying to blaze it. And not only that, she has a birth path number of a 5 and a life path number of a 7. So that means she was either born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd. And whatever the month, the day, and the year it is, added up to a 7. The life path represents the long range, but the birthday represents the more immediate and short range, if you can keep that in mind. But it simply means this is a person that would be proactive too. Now, this person said she redid her name under the Pythagorean and under, so she has 9 fire numbers, 3 earth numbers, 6 air numbers, and 2 water numbers. Still came out fire and air. Yeah. And not only that, but then I'm looking at the fact that what's the irony is that in your name, you have the elements of air and fire, but in your birthday, you have the elements of earth and water. So with your name and your birthday, you have all 4 elements in your constitution by birthday and by name. So this is important to understand. So I would figure you're kind of a balanced person, things of that nature. And so that would help a lot too. And so this year, you will be in a 9 personal year for 2026. So this will be a year for conclusions, a year of closing, a year of endings and terminations. And it's not bad. It's just sometimes you just anything that no longer serves its purpose, you kind of, like you have something in the house for a long time and it's just sitting there looking at you and you looking at it. Well, maybe it's time to go. Well, that will be the thing. But it's also a year to manifest with a purpose, to manifest your dreams. That's the thing to do too. Okay. And avoid any arguments and whatnot. But it tells me you like to be your own best company too. Okay. 888 says they're born December the 15th. Their birthday is coming up next Thursday, I do believe. And under the Chaldean, he broke down because see, it would also break down also the value of your numbers, D is a 4, whatever the case is. So he's got fire and air. So he's more air backed up by fire. See, so he has 1 water, 1 earth, but he's got mostly air. So that means he's going to use his mind to solve his way through life. Okay. And not only that, but back it up by fire. Okay. That's the thing. He said no, the 25th. Yeah. Well, I said your birthday will be on, if you're December the 15th, that's next Thursday. Okay. And so I don't understand what the other one is, but I tell you this, it's very interesting because like the other person, you have mostly air and fire, and yet your birthday is earth and water. So like the other person, you too have all 4 elements contained in your birthday and your name as well. So that should make for a balance, I would assume. All this is research. It's not conclusive, but that's how my book started out with Numbers in You. People would ask me a question, I would do the research. If it panned out, if it held out, if it made sense, because for me, it's got to make sense. I try not to say anything that don't make sense. You don't need an education when something just makes sense. Okay, you can just hear it. Well, that is always my approach. All right, and so I do thank them. And by the way, Empress Rel, because I would have forgotten. Thanks, Empress, because I'd have definitely not forgot to put it up there. And so thank you very much. I think I'll take 1 or 2 more who might want it. If not, I will say you'll all have a nice day, a great weekend. We are about to really wrap this year up. Hopefully in about another week and a half, I will have the January forecast. But for those who want a sneak peek, you can get it sooner. Okay, I think I got a new comment that came in. Okay, and by the way, let me say this before I get to this person. No, I see there was no donations tonight or whatever they call that. If you did and I miss it, first of all, it's not on purpose. It's not intentional. And I'm saying, because it dawned on me just the other day, if I miss it, how can I do this? And I'm saying there are 2 I missed last week. And so if you can remember, just send your name and birthday. I don't need how much you donated. Just say I donated. And because I know if I got 10 and only so 2, I know that's not what's happening. Okay, that's not the math. But for those that are very sincere, just give me your name and your birthday, and I'll read you the following time I'm on to at least honor your donation to the show. Okay, that's what I'll do. Okay, and Big Sky Comedy TV 1143. Okay, Chula Mathis Virgo September. Now this person by birthday is a earth sign with a fire number. Now, if you look at it, he's got 2 fire numbers, 5 earth numbers. Hold it. He's got 2 fire, 5 earths, 1 air, and 2 waters. So he's strong on the earth. And he's strong on the earth plane. And that would make sense with him being an earth sign too. And he has a fire number, which gives him that drive, but it's always got to be with some sense. He would make an excellent strategist. And not only that, but the whole saying for Virgo is I analyze. So with that being an earth sign, he would very analyze in a very practical, down to earth, and he would make, to me, a great invention, whereby the masses can take that and take it to the next level. Not only that, but he's going into a 4 personal year, which is a foundation number, a cycle where he needs to structure and organize the life in a much better fashion, a cycle where he needs to follow a blueprint and not do things in a helter-skelter fashion, and will find that he will do very, very well. But I do thank you for this, and thank all of you for visiting. And there is one more that closed out, and this is Hasana Livingston, born 12/21, whose birthday is coming up on Sunday, I do believe. All right, and so she is a fire sign with a fire number. Okay, so when I look at the name, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm seeing at least five fire numbers in the name, although she didn't go through the astronumerology calendar, but I see 5 in the name. All right. I see 1 water. I think she's got about 6 fire numbers. Okay. Anyway, but what it tells me is this: next year is your quiet year. Next year is your soul searching year. Next year is your year of reflection and attracting what you want by simply putting it in your mind's eye. That whatever you see and hold on to will be drawn to you, because you're entering what is called the law of attraction anyway. Normally in a 7th cycle, this is that you'll be in for 2021. So when people go back to church, become born again Christians, they go get readings, they go to psychic fairs, but they're looking for something that goes beyond the 5 senses. And that's where you will be. All righty. So I do want to thank all of you very, very much. And let me close out by giving due respect to all of my sponsors, which is Nicholas Brooklyn. They are the best. They're at 1396 Fulton Street. They are having a red carpet event on Saturday, All in the Family, produced by Bridget. I do believe that's the young lady in the yellow shirt. So please come out with that. That's going to be from 6 to 8 p.m. on this Saturday. And then on Sunday, just the day before the summer solstice. No, actually Sunday will be the summer solstice. Excuse me, that'll be the 21st. And so it's going to be a whole day of wellness, yoga, and that goes from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's all day. That's 11 hours, okay? That's at 1396 Fulton Street. So please get there, show up and show out. I think that's what they call it. Also, Uchenna with his book, Soul First, Master 24 Hours, Master Life. It is a excellent book, and I've got to have him back on. I've been out of touch with him, but I will be reconnecting to have him back now that the book is out. It's available on Amazon. It's also an ebook. He also has a companion that goes as a complimentary journal to the book too, to help guide you. And of course, Numerologics with Melinda Valentine. She will be my guest this coming Monday. While we're still in the fire period, do pick up the reflections in the fire journal. And so when she's on the Monday, we'll be in the sign of Capricorn, which is Earth. I will be plugging her, getting her Earth journal for those under the signs of Taurus and Virgo and Capricorn. All righty. So please do. Also, Recept, they are sponsoring it. And also, I will say this, go to Kimberly.com, KIMBALEY.com. She also has a new site. This is her site now. Okay. So if you go to Kimberly.com, it's for business astronumerology. She also has a numerology calendar, but it's for not just individuals, it's for business owners as well. So you can compare your name and put in your business name and its birthday or date of incorporation, and it'll give you. Hers is much more detailed than mine. Mine is nice, but it's absolutely no charge either, too. All you got to do is go to KIMBALEY.com and do that. So I think that's it. Oh, and by the way, let me close by saying, in the case of Big E, it was on my show Monday. He is having a summer sale. Excuse me, as cold as it is, he's having well, in Arizona it's warm where he is, but here in the East it's cold as duck butter. So, but he's having a winter sale beginning tomorrow all the way through January the 1st of the year. For those that remains of the halfway month, do sign up for the monthly newsletter. Just go to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. That's LLoyd-Strayhorn, STRAY. Sign up on it. Also, if you want to, click on the new link that I've added called the Astronumerology Calendar. And for those that don't want to read the newsletter, you can hear the broadcast that we did on YouTube. It's on Kimberly's channel. You go to YouTube and it's KIMBALEY. Also, if you want to, we've also done the yearly forecast. In other words, for 2026, I've covered from January of next month all the way to December of next year of 2026. And if you want to hear the audio part, you can go to Kimberly.com and click on that as well. So I do want to thank everybody who has been joining us. And this has been fun. You'll all have a nice weekend. I am excited about bringing on my very special guest on Monday, Melinda Valentine, as we begin to wrap up the year. And for those of you who took the time to go to the site, Lloyd-Strayhorn, and click on the Astro Numerology Calendar, this is research for me. So this is a tremendous, I really want to make sure that it works. Does it sound right? Does it make sense? If it don't make sense, it's not going to be used. But I try not to do anything that doesn't make sense and can't be useful. But for those of you who volunteered and did give me your information, it was good to see. And I hope I was in the ballpark too. All right. That's what counts. So in the meantime, everybody, you'll all have a blessed day. Take good care of yourselves. Have a great, great weekend. And I'll see you on Monday.